Alright, good day guys. Sorry about the late video. I am a bit under the weather, but not a bit. I'm very sick. So I was not able to get this video out, this series of videos out earlier. Um, but essentially, what all I wanted to do was to go through the principles of drawing all of the building drawings from the floor plan, the roof plan, the foundation plan, the elevations, and the sectional drawing in preparation for the technical drawing CSEC examination. Um, I chose a very simple drawing so we could, get through this in maybe 10-15 minutes each. Hopefully, I could stick to that. So let's get right into it. At this point, I assume that you know a lot of the basics already. This is not really an in-depth thing. This is just a reminder, um, a refresher, so to speak. Whether the house is, 5 rooms or 2 rooms, the principles basically remain the same. So there's just a few things I want to point out before we get started. This is the drawing that we're going to be using, the sketch of the drawing that we're going to be using. Um, we're going to start with the floor plan. First thing to point out, if you notice that my measurements, you see 3M and so on, this just simply mean meters. Okay. Now, oftentimes I've seen the exam for CXE, rather than showing the measurement in millimeters, I've seen them use meters, and it's not a big deal. As you know your conversions, if to convert meters to millimeters, milli meaning 1,000, so you want to multiply by 1,000. So if you have 3 meters multiplied by 1,000, so 3 times 1,000, that's 3,000 millimeters. So 3 meters is equal to 3,000 millimeters. Let me just, for the sake, I know it's straightforward, but it's 3 meters multiplied by 1,000, 3,000 millimeters. This measurement here is actually 3,000 millimeters, and as you should know, to convert if you really want to think about it in metric, in the imperial, sorry, the meters, millimeters to feet, you just have to divide by 300. So we have 3,000 millimeters, we divide by 300, and that's going to give us feet. This is 10 feet. Okay, but the exam, I believe, is using the metric system, so let's go ahead with that. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna okay, let me just do it right over here. I'm gonna move it really fast, and you feel free to follow along with this. If you want, pause the video, but I'm gonna try to move as quickly as possible to keep the video short so you could practice as much as possible. So the first thing first, what I want you to do, I already created all my layers, as you could see, well, most of them. What I want you to do is go ahead and do all that, create your layers, set up your annotations and your letter size and height and everything like that. um, I'm I'm going to take it one room at a time. Okay, so these measurements are internal measurements. That's the way you can consider them. So from this is the inside of the room to the inside of the same room to the the other side, but the inside wall. Okay, so you need to show the thickness of the wall, after you've drawn these lines to show the inside dimension of the room. Just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and get started. This first line coming down here, this is 3 meters, which if you multiply that by 1,000, that's 3,000 millimeters. 3,000 millimeters. So I'm gonna come down 3,000 millimeters like so, and then I'm starting with this room, so I'm gonna just offset to get this wall right here. So let me use the offset. Distance is also 3000 millimeters once more. So we're going to offset this to there, like so. And then I'm going to draw this line above here right away. Cool. And now, um, this is my external wall. CXC will specify to you what the dimensions are, what the thicknesses are for the wall. So I'm just going to use this. You could follow along. I'm going to use 150 6-inch blocks, 150 millimeters for external walls, and I'm going to use 100 for internal. So these are external walls, external. This is internal, so I have to change my offset to 100 and then do that like so. And then I'm gonna do this line over here. So the distance in between here is also 3 meters, which is 3000 millimeters. Again, that should divide by let's multiply by 1000, and then let's do this one right here. Right, this is also an external wall. So I'm gonna do that, and then just connect a line to right there like so. Offset. This one is an external wall, so that's that. Now, the distance in between here, I don't believe I've shown it, so let me go ahead and just put that in. So the distance in here, 1800. So we're gonna offset this line downwards 1800. Like so, and then this is gonna be offsetting again another internal wall, so it's gonna be 100 millimeters, like so. All right. And then yeah, we just gotta close it all up. So let me just draw a line across here. Let's get back to my layer. Draw this line, come across here like so. I just hit enter to reactivate the line tool. Offset. This is external wall, so so now we have our basic wall outline. Next step is to clean this up, so I'm going to use my trim tool and trim out these lines, make sure the walls connect. Then I'm going to use the fillet tool. I'm going to make sure the radius by typing R is set to 0, yes. And I'm going to hit M for multiple so that I can do multiple fillets without having to reactivate the tool every time. So yeah, so all of these are joined up. We have this little gap here. I can just click this line, click that line, hit J, enter for the join tool, and it's create it combine the both lines into one line. So this line, that line, J, enter. Now it's one thing. So now we have our walls right here. Next thing we want to do is to put in our doors and windows. Now I'm not going to waste time creating them. This is a basic thing, so I'm just gonna make a copy of these right here, like so, and I'm gonna put them let me use the bottom so I can snap to the center. Is there another one right here? Yeah, let me put one right, snap to the center. Now notice I didn't give any measurements in the sketch, so we leave that up to you, and you will see CSEC is telling you that if no dimensions are given, then it's left to the discretion of the student. So please don't be afraid if CSEC omitted something. and it looks like it's in the center, put it in the center, or try your best to put it in the center. I don't think it's going to be that much of a big deal. All right, so let me just get this last one, make a copy of it, grab it here, and put it right there, like so. All right, next up are my doors. I'm gonna make a copy of the doors, um, and put them, somewhere in the center here, like so. Not a big deal, not worried about it. All right, so now, um, um, we have another door, right? Another couple of doors. Let me just copy all these. um, I'm gonna put it, just rest it there. I'll rotate this one. Actually, I'll need to rotate it and mirror it. You should know how to do all of these. Yes. So I want the door to swing right that way. I'll put it right there, like so. The next thing I want to do is just to um, draw some lines across here so that I could, you know, cut away this door. Now, obviously, you could go into a lot more details by drawing the door frames and all this stuff. I'm really not trying to waste too much time on the details of these videos. It's just to kind of give you a refresher of what's what. So now that is done, I could trim away that. I'm going to leave this line so that it shows that there's a distinction between the inside of the house and the outside. Maybe there's a step up something, right? There's no separation between the floors. When I walk from this room to this room, there's not a step up or a step down. So I'm going to just trim away both lines, and likewise with here. All right. Yeah, and that seems to be good. Anything is missing? Let me see. Blah blah blah. Windows, windows, windows. Double door, door, door. All right. So now the next thing I need to do, I need to create um, a layer, and I'll call it hatch. I'll make this cyan. Okay. So what I'm gonna do with this hatch layer, as you should know, I'm gonna the wall, because our floor plan is essentially a sectional drawing that we cut off horizontally around the window height of the house, and we look down on it. It has to be shown using the the hatch pattern to show that the walls were cut. So I'm gonna use this. Gonna change the scale over 1500. Let's see if that's big enough. Ooh, okay. All right. Yeah. So I'll have to change the thickness of this layer soon. But yeah. So we do that. All of that good. Yes, yes, yes. Let me just go back and change this to something a little thinner. Like that. Cool. So I know I didn't have it over here, but I'm going to just put some labels in the rooms because you really should have the rooms labeled. So let's do um, text layer, single line. I'll just call this. I mean, it's not gonna make much sense right now necessarily, but okay. So the rotation angle is 0, so that means we're writing horizontally. Make sure my caps are on. I'll call this waiting room. Waiting room. Excuse me. Um, and then I'll just copy this over here. I'll say this is office. This is whatever this room is, um So yeah, and I'll call this, you know, whatever this is, I'll call it corridor. Yeah. Um, but really this makes no sense because the corridor leading to nowhere and all of that. But just for the sake of getting through this thing quickly. Yeah. So if you notice the doors, double doors, 900 millimeter doors and all of that, 750 for the inside. So the next thing we need to do now is just to dimension this thing, put a label on it, and um, we'll be done. But before we do that, let's do the roof outline. You really should, especially if you're asked to. So let's go to the offset tool. Offset. We're gonna use 450. CSEC might tell you something different. So you know, follow whatever instructions you are given for the exams. Please read your specifications. I'm going to use the fillet tool again, multiple, and then I'm going to go around like so. Alright guys, forgive my voice. Been coughing non-stop for the past maybe 5 days or something. I don't know. Alright, let me just switch this to our roof layer. Shouldn't have deselected that. Right click properties. We want to change the line type scale to about 1500 again, something larger so we can see these lines. Alright, next up, line tool. I'm going to go to the corners. I'm going to do a hip roof. So just make sure this is set to 45 degrees, and then we're going to do a hip roof. So go to each of the corners and we're going to do just make sure it's at 45 degrees and just bring that line in somewhere and stop. I'm making it long enough so that the lines are going to intersect. Yeah, so right there. And start right here. And then let's do this one like so. Boom. Then I'm gonna just clean it up right away. Trim, trim the root, trim. Yeah, and then I just need to make these lines the same. So I'm just gonna match properties like so. Right. But yeah, so we just need to dimension this and the title on it, and we'll be done basically. There's a couple ways to dimension it, um, and I don't believe CXC is all that particular about um completely dimensioning, because they would usually tell you, oh, 10 important dimensions including an internal one and so on. So in real life you would dimension the entire drawing from all sides and so on, and there are multiple ways you could do it. Let me just show you one real quick. Actually, the video is already 18 minutes long and I'm sure it took a couple of minutes talking, so let me try to speed up a little bit. So using the tool right there, the first one I'm going to dimension all the openings, and usually you could put the first one um you know a certain distance away, etc. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put it, eyeball it, and put it like that. Now, if you have a certain measurement that you use, go ahead and do that. That's perfectly fine. For now, I'm not going to do it. Once it looks good and it looks consistent, then there's no problem with that. So first of all, I measured all of the openings, right? So the wall and then the opening, whether it's a window or a door. And then secondly, the second layer of my dimensions can be my wall thickness. So I'm going to bring it here, and then continue. So it's going to be my wall thickness, show the thickness of the wall, and then the width of the room, like so. So you can see the room is now 3000 and the wall thickness is 150. And then here the wall thickness is 100, and then the room is 3000, and so on. I know this is how um, some countries do it. And then finally you want to have the overall measurement, like so. Okay, and just put it up there like that. Please make sure to clean up your dimensions. So I don't want to have this 150 overlapping on the 3000 line. So I'm going to click on the 150, click on this here, and then kind of just maybe move it down to the outside like so. All right, just clean it up. This could probably come on the outside as well. Yeah, you want to make it look not messy. The other way you can do it, I will, let me just delete this real quick. The other way you can dimension this thing, you give the distances for the wall and the windows, and then you give the overall. Okay, like so. And then on the inside of the room now, you would put um, inside of the room now you would put the dimension of the room. So the room is, let's say, the room is 3000 by 3000. You're gonna put um, three. You could put 3000 millimeters times 3000 millimeters. You can do that. You could put it in meters. You could put 3 meters times 3 meters. Um, well, let me be consistent. So 3000 times 3000 millimeters. And notice, right? Notice that um, I'm starting with my width first. So the width of the room, 3000 millimeters by the length or the depth or whatever you want to refer to it as, because we're the 2D space, some people call it differently. So go in the horizontal dimension first and then the vertical dimension for secondly. So 3000 across by 3000 downwards. That's how you can write it in. So this is going to tell the builder everything that he needs to know in order to construct this house. It is a lot easier for him to get it. It's a lot more easy for him if he has the information in all three layers, to be honest. But depending on the size of your drawing, doing all three layers all around the drawing might take up so much space, depending on the size of the floor plan, of course, might take up so much space that it's not able to fit properly on the paper. Um, so that's why I usually give people multiple techniques. You would want to make sure you put internal measurements also if that's what it's asked, if the exam asks you for that kind of stuff. So you can go ahead and do this is another method also, by the way. You can measure the inside of the rooms like so, like this. I'm just going to put it there. You can do this also. So we have the overall, we have the walls and the openings, and we have the inside measurement of the room. So you can do it this way, measuring dimension the inside of the rooms like that. You can do it this way by typing, labeling the dimension of the inside of the room, starting with the width first, or you can put it all on the outside where you show three layers, starting with the walls and openings. Second layer would be the wall thickness and the room sizes, and then the overall dimension. Either way, it's all correct. Um, so I'm going to leave that one here. I think the video is over 20 minutes by now, and which is longer than I really wanted it to be. And then just finally, you want to put um, the title here. So we'll call this floor plan of office building. Um, and then let me just scale this up. Base point by a scale factor of 2, so twice the size. And then I'm going to just put another text right at the end, um, and call it scale. So this is going to be 1 to 50 or whatever scale, um, CXC, whatever scale CXC gives you to do your drawing at. All right. So maybe a little bit more, a little bit down. All right. And then you just go and put this on, plot this on a piece of paper. You know how to do that. I'm not going to go through that in this video. All right. So let's leave this video right here. I think that was pretty straightforward, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. We'll be doing the either the roof plan or the foundation plan. All right. See you in the next one.